Breaking now at 4, a double murder manhunt where deputies are searching for a suspect considered armed and dangerous.
Back to work. Lawmakers return to Tallahassee to cut a deal on overhauling immigration.
The top of my foot was shredded, and I just hadn't realized until I looked down.
Shark bite survivors, a tale of 2 young women from Brevard County who made it out alive during a trip to the Bahamas.
And mowing down mailboxes, a Florida neighborhood ticked off with a guy who's cutting more than the grass. Whoa.
WESH 2 News starts with breaking news.
And that breaking news is out of southern Brevard County. Chopper 2 is heading to that scene right now where a Brightline train has hit a car. This is at Jordan Boulevard and US 1 in Melbourne. The sheriff's office just told us a person inside that car was trapped but has been rescued and rushed to the hospital with some serious injuries. Florida Highway Patrol is also at that scene. As you can see live in this picture, Chopper 2 will be there in just a few moments. Our Megan Moriarty is also pulling up to that crash right now. She will have a live report in just a few minutes.
And we are also following breaking news in Volusia County, where deputies are searching for a man wanted in a double murder. Good afternoon. I'm Nancy Alvarez.
I'm Stuart Moore. The manhunt underway right now. WESH 2's Pamela Combe live for us in DeLand, where deputies think this man might be hiding. Pamela, what do we know so far?
Well, deputies say to not approach this man. They do believe he is armed and dangerous. With the help of technology, they were able to track him down here to Florida, and they do believe he is in the West DeLand area. Now, on your screen, you'll see a photo of 50-year-old Scott Mitchell. Deputies say he recently shaved off his beard. He's about 5'11", weighs over 200 pounds with blonde red hair. Again, he recently shaved off his beard. He is a suspect in a double homicide that happened February 3rd in a home in Binghamton, New York. A Chevrolet Impala linked to Mitchell was found abandoned Saturday afternoon in South Carolina. Search efforts quickly shifted there and then to Florida, again here in the West DeLand area. Now, the sheriff's office does say a vehicle was recovered and he is believed to be on foot. Anyone with any information is asked to call the Volusia County Sheriff's Office. Covering Volusia County live in DeLand, Pamela Combe, WESH 2 News.
Developing this afternoon, a Marion County man behind bars accused of molesting a 14-year-old girl that he convinced to get inside of his truck.
He's now facing several charges, including human trafficking. WESH 2's Michelle Meredith is live at the sheriff's office this afternoon. Michelle, how were they able to catch this guy?
Well, they sent a detective undercover, and she was dressed very similar to the victim, and they wanted to see if he would try to do it again. And according to investigators, he did. Now, he is in the Marion County jail, but the sheriff's office tells us he's being detained by ICE for possible deportation after he faces these charges. Live in Marion County, Michelle Meredith, WESH 2 News.
Florida's immigration overhaul front and center again in the state capitol.
Lawmakers back in Tallahassee for another special session to try and hammer out a deal. WESH 2's Michelle Parado joins us live in studio to tell us where things stand right now. Michelle.
Well, Stuart and Nancy, the session started just after noon today, and it looks like this time around lawmakers are more willing to play ball with Governor Ron DeSantis. And as with most special sessions, lawmakers will be in committee to start all these meetings, but then the House and the Senate plan to hold sessions on the floor of the state capitol on Thursday. Stuart, Nancy, back to you.
All right, Michelle. And WESH 2's Jesse Pagan will be in Tallahassee covering the special session this week. Look for his live reports starting tonight at 5 o'clock, and you can also get updates anytime at WESH.com. More than 24 Christian and Jewish groups have filed a lawsuit to prevent immigration agents from making arrests at houses of worship. The suit, filed in U.S. District Court in Washington, says the Trump administration's policy is spreading fear of raids, which is lowering attendance at worship services and other church programs. The suit says the result is infringing on the group's religious freedom, including their ability to minister to migrants regardless of their legal status in the United States. At this hour, the Trump administration has yet to respond. And Pope Francis rebuked the president today, warning that forcefully removing people purely because of their immigration status deprives them of their dignity. The Pope addressed the crackdown in a letter to bishops across the United States. Francis, who was originally from Argentina, He has long made caring for migrants a priority of his pontificate. During President Trump's first term, the Pope said anyone who builds a wall to keep migrants out was, quote, not a Christian.
Now to a big story that could impact the bottom line of homeowners across 5 Central Florida counties. A utility company that supplies water for those counties wants to raise rates. The proposal up for debate today in the state capitol. WESH News' Justin Shecker live for us in Longwood, one of the many places that could see a hike. Justin, what are customers telling you?
Well, Stuart, the neighbors here say the utility company hasn't fixed ongoing irrigation issues, so the last thing they want right now are higher water bills. And the state's Office of Public Counsel is arguing against the proposed rate increases. After today's hearing, the commission staff will make a recommendation before a vote at a later date. We'll keep you posted. Covering Seminole County live in Longwood, I'm Justin Shecker, WESH 2 News.
All right, we want to get you back to that breaking news now in Brevard County. Chopper 2 just got to the scene there in Malabar, where deputies say a Brightline train hit a car.
You can see from right in the middle of your screen, that car got slapped almost off the tracks completely, and it looks like part of the arm crossing has also been knocked over. This is at Jordan Boulevard and US 1 in Malabar. The sheriff's office told us a person was inside that car, was trapped, but has been rescued and rushed to the hospital with some serious injuries. The car just mangled as we continue to go around this side. Florida Highway Patrol is also at this scene investigating. Our Megan Moriarty is working to get her way there as well. She'll have a live update for us later on this afternoon. A man mowing yards taken down after allegedly trying to take down a mailbox.
Yeah, that didn't really end well, did it? He'd end up cutting another mailbox down as well. The Florida neighborhood frustrated with this piece of yard work. Plus, taking flying to another level, the company considering looking up when it comes to seating passengers.
But first, 2 young women from Brevard County with the encounter they will never forget.
I felt my leg get tugged down, and I immediately knew I was bit by a shark.
Both bitten by a shark while on a trip to the Bahamas. How they managed to get to safety. Cam.
Beautiful sunshine, but hot tomorrow. Here's a look at your 12-hour forecast in Sanford. We'll climb into the upper 80s for your highs and staying dry. But I'm tracking 2 cold fronts. They'll be moving into Central Florida soon. I'll show you the big impacts we'll see and the timing of those fronts coming up.
Closed captioning brought to you by National Floors Direct.
All right, back to that breaking news now in Brevard County. Wow, look at this now. Chopper 2, again, just getting to that scene in Malabar where deputies say a Brightline train hit a car. And really, now, Stu, from this angle, you can really see the damage there.
It is mangled. This is at Jordan Boulevard and US 1 in Malabar. WESH News' Megan Moriarty is also live at that scene. Megan, what's the latest?
We just got here in the last 10 minutes. Take a look at the vehicle that crashed with the Brightline train. You can see it is completely smashed here. And it appears over to the left that this crash also resulted in taking down this signal here as well. Now, according to the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, and this is just according to the dispatch notes, it appears a driver was trying to beat the train when he crashed into the train here and resulted in this crash that you can see right here. Now, we do know that the driver has some minor injuries. He was taken to the hospital. He originally was trapped inside that car. However, he was taken out of there by emergency first responders. So that is the good news here. We are working to learn more about what led up to this crash. And right now you can see that it is blocked off here. Florida Highway Patrol is investigating. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office is here, and there is a tow truck here as well, working to figure out how they're going to move this vehicle off the railway. It does appear, what I'm hearing is looks like a Brightline train is trying to come down this way as well. So unsure how that's all going to work out here. We're continuing to monitor the situation. We'll have another update for you in the next hour. Covering Brevard County and Malabar, Megan Moriarty, WESH 2 News.
All right, certainly a scene we will stay on top of all afternoon. All right, also in Brevard County, 2 women from the county are recovering after a terrifying shark attack in the Bahamas.
This happened while they were swimming near the Bimini Bay Resort area. As WESH News' Sankadange reports, both were bitten and seriously hurt. So now the long road to recovery continues. Riley is back in the Orlando area waiting for her 3rd surgery and hoping that there are no infections. but both young women are expected to make a full recovery. And here's some shark bite stats for our state. Last year, Florida had the most unprovoked shark bites in the country. There were 28 total across the U.S., and we had 14 of them. There was only one recorded deadly shark attack in 2024. That one was in Hawaii.
Those women are so lucky. I know it was traumatizing, but it could have been so much worse.
Just a minor bite in the wrong spot.
Yeah, would have been a different story. Yeah. And a lot of people probably paying attention to that because it's beach weather out there, Cam.
Yeah, we're in the middle of February, and I'm about to talk about near record high temperatures, where we're going to be talking about near 90 degrees this week.
It's summer.
It feels like we skipped ahead like 2 seasons here at Central Florida, but it will be coming crashing down pretty soon. I'll let you know when. So our 2 top weather headlines: near record heat the next couple of days, and then I'm tracking 2 cold fronts that'll be heading our way, and that will bring some impacts here to Central Florida in terms of rain and a pretty significant cool down. But let's first talk about the warm. We go from warm today to downright hot tomorrow and Thursday. Forecasting a high of 87 for tomorrow. That's just 1 degree shy of our record for Wednesday. Look at this. For Thursday in Orlando, we're looking at a high of 89 degrees, which would actually tie the record high for Thursday. Now, we do have a couple of fronts that'll be heading our way. The first one will be arriving about late Thursday into Friday. This, though, not going to knock down the temperatures for Thursday, because you can see by the time the rain arrives, it'll be well after the daytime heating, and we are expecting that rain shower activity into Thursday evening, and then the front essentially just stalls out over Central Florida, keeping those rain showers around for Friday, which does bring in some slightly cooler temps for Friday, but we warm right back up again for the upcoming weekend. So Saturday, we're back into the 80s, 85 your high on Saturday. I put a green check mark there because out of the 2 weekend days, I will say Saturday is going to be the nicer of the 2, because the second front will be arriving on Sunday, and that will bring us a chance for some fairly widespread rain for the second half of the weekend. So warm and breezy for Saturday. So if you're hoping to get outside, we could see a few showers late in the afternoon on Saturday, but for the most part, fairly dry. Then comes the stronger of the 2 cold fronts arriving on Sunday. This will bring some widespread rain showers, and behind this second front, we're going to see some significantly cooler air for next work week. So heads up, that strong cold front, we're going to go from the mid 80s on Sunday to a high of just 67 on Monday. So a big shock to our system after temperatures near 90 for this week. Live look outside. Here's a look at New Smyrna Beach. I think this area is going to be popping on Thursday. A lot of folks heading out to the beach with this heat. Right now, though, we're currently at 77 New Smyrna Beach, 80 in Sanford, 84 in Orlando, currently 82 Kissimmee. As we take a look at our satellite and radar, we are seeing the sea breezes moving inland, so pretty much a summer-like pattern. We're not seeing too much rain out of those breezes, though, with the exception of a couple of showers right now near Salt Springs this afternoon. 12-hour forecast for the rest of the evening. Can't run a spot sprinkle or 2, but it's going to be a mild night. Once again, overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning, we're watching for some fog to develop, but I don't think it'll be as thick and as widespread as what we saw this morning. Here's a look ahead at your Central Florida certified most accurate forecast. So very hot tomorrow and Thursday. We are going to see cooler temperatures by next week. The series of fronts coming through could bring in some impacts to speed week events. I'll talk more about the timing of the fronts and the impacts we could see with those events at Daytona Beach coming up at 4:47.
Artificial intelligence could soon be transforming the auto repair industry.
You name it, the machine detects absolutely everything.
Giving you a clearer look at potential problems in just seconds.
I'm transportation expert Megan Mackey. I put my own vehicle to the test. See what this AI scanner technology can reveal and how it compares to a traditional mechanic's inspection.
I would be most intrigued to see what information they got out of it.
Tonight at 11 on WESH 2 News.
Okay, you're going to want to see this story, so come over to the TV. Someone's causing problems with a lawnmower in one Florida community by running head-on into mailboxes. Yeah, that's it right there. This is just one example of what's happening in San Carlos Park, which is just south of Fort Myers. You can see the guy there just plow right in that mailbox. Go end over end. Yeah, and he then hops off. You saw him there. He has a hard time staying on his feet, eventually stumbling down. Here's the thing. It happened again. Another piece of surveillance video shows the guy not just hitting another mailbox, but mowing it down. There it goes. Safe to say neighbors are not thrilled with this.
you, and I hope you at least paid for these mailboxes to be fixed.
Be a man and turn yourself in, because you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, the Lee County Sheriff's Office is on the case. The lawnmower man apparently left some stuff behind. Neighbors say they found a Pittsburgh Steelers hat and a pair of sunglasses.
Did you find any empty beer cans?
Maybe look with somebody with a bruise on their head, because that's just crazy.
Use the edger, man. It takes more time, but you don't hit mailboxes.
Wow.
All right, the next time you need a lift, you might find the driver's seat empty. The rideshare program has announced it has joined forces with the Japanese companies to start using autonomous vehicles. In a social media post, Lyft CEO said they could debut in Dallas by 2026. Officials at Lyft say once these vehicles are out, customers can choose if they would like to go driverless. You know what it's like to have someone sit behind you at a concert or a ball game? Well, you may see something similar on airplanes very soon. Airbus says it's looking at possibly installing double-level seating. Aviation startup Chase Lounge is the brains behind this idea, which would remove the overhead cabin to allow for 2 levels of seats. The top level will give travelers larger reclining angles, while the bottom row would let passengers enjoy some extra leg room.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Which one are you picking?
I don't want to sit underneath anybody. I don't know. All right, let's go to NASA now. Let's talk about that. NASA completes another big piece of the plan to return to the moon.
Plus, a Florida corrections officer gunned down outside of his home. The killer's still on the loose. The deputies are telling us about the attack.
And what the man accused of murdering Madeline Soto wants tossed from the case before he goes to trial. You're watching WESH 2 News at 4.
WESH 2 News starts now with breaking news.
And we are staying on top of that breaking news in Brevard County. Chopper 2 live over the scene in Malabar, where deputies say this car was hit by a Brightline train. This is at Jordan Boulevard and US 1. Here's a closer look at that scene from our photojournalist Mike Hansen. You can see what's left of that car. Also, one of the signs there near the railroad crossing also down. The sheriff's office told us that a person inside that car was trapped but has been rescued and rushed to the hospital with some serious injuries. Our Megan Moriarty is also at that scene getting more information. We'll get an update from her coming up at the top of the hour. Also developing, a battle over evidence in the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
Stefan Stearns was the boyfriend of Madeline's mother. Investigators say they found pictures and videos on his phone that showed him molesting Madeline for years before her death. But Stearns' attorney says they shouldn't be used against him in trial. WESH 2's Spencer Tracy is following this case and joins us live in Osceola County. So Spencer, Stearns says he was coerced.
That's right, Nancy. And he claims he had no choice but to give up his phone. Now, his attorney also claims that he was under the influence of prescription anxiety medicine also during that time. So Stearns has pled not guilty to all of these charges. And just last week, his attorney filed another motion to drop the death penalty. Now, he is due back in court tomorrow for his pretrial. Of course, follow this and bringing the latest on air and online. I'm covering Osceola County live in Kissimmee. Spencer Tracy, WESH 2 News.
Also developing at this hour, a manhunt for the gunman who murdered a Palm Beach County corrections officer. The suspect on the run for nearly 24 hours. WESH 3 Summer Knowles joins us live in studio with the latest on this search. Summer.
Well, Stuart, at this hour, deputies have not said if they have identified that suspect, but they do believe that this corrections officer was actually the target here. Now, take a look. This is a picture of the victim, 39-year-old Basil Powell. Investigators say he had just gotten home around 7:30 last night when he was shot several times while getting out of his car. Now, Powell was airlifted to a nearby hospital where he was then pronounced dead. Investigators have not said if he was returning home from work at the time, but they said the shooting was not related to his role as a corrections officer. Deputies lined up outside the hospital overnight as his body was moved from the hospital to the medical examiner's office. He was hired by the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office in October of 2021. Again, at this hour, deputies have not released any information on a possible suspect, but they are asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers immediately. We'll keep you posted. Back to you, Nancy.
All right, Summer, thanks. And right now, Cocoa police want to find the driver who hit a woman on her bike and then drove off. The hit and run happened last Friday morning at 520 and Washington Avenue. Police say the The woman was riding her e-bike in the bike lane of 520 when someone in a Dodge Caravan hit her while trying to turn onto Washington. Investigators say the driver then got out to check on the woman, but then drove off. If you know anything, you're urged to call Cocoa Police.
Also developing tonight, a warning from President Trump surrounding the shaky ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. As NBC's Von Hilliard reports, the president is warning Hamas of what's to come if more hostages are not released by the weekend. Conservative strategist Steve Bannon will avoid jail time after pleading guilty in New York today to defrauding donors to a nonprofit devoted to building a wall at the southern border. As part of the deal, Bannon is forbidden from serving as the director of any nonprofit in New York or raising money for charities with assets in the state of New York.
Right now, flags across the state are at half-staff to honor the Volusia County pilot killed in that collision over the Potomac River. Jonathan Campos was the captain of the American Airlines flight that collided with that Army helicopter last month. 67 people were killed. Campos lived in Ormond Beach and studied at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Governor DeSantis directed flags at all local and state buildings, as well as grounds throughout Volusia County to be flown at half-staff from sunrise to sunset.
At this hour, federal investigators believe faulty landing gear led to a deadly plane crash in Arizona. The small business jet slammed into a parked plane as it arrived at Scottsdale Airport in Arizona yesterday. 4 people were on board the jet. 1 person died. 3 others were hurt. The plane is owned by Vince Neil. That's the longtime lead singer of Motley Crue. But Neil's attorney says he was not on board. Federal Aviation Administration says it appears the jet's left main gear failed upon landing, leading to the crash.
Well, the only thing hotter than the weather today is the heat coming out of this Falcon 9 rocket this afternoon. Another wonderful line from producer Jason Olsen. SpaceX sent up a new batch of Starlink satellites into orbit. Just before 2 this afternoon, the first stage booster landed back on a drone ship. About 8 minutes later, this was the 18th flight for that booster. And NASA's version of Tetris continues inside the vehicle assembly building. In just the last hour, NASA announced the final solid rocket booster segment for the Space Launch System has been moved into the vehicle assembly building. Inside the VAB, just finished stacking another segment of the boosters onto the mobile launcher. Crews are so close to finishing this work. This is the 9th of 10 segments to be put together inside the VAB. Combine this with the core stage and you've got a rocket ready to send astronauts back to the moon for Artemis 2. Remember, they'll orbit the moon but not land on the surface. Launch, as of right now, is set for no earlier than April of next year.
It's pretty cool to see.
It kind of gives you an idea of how massive the VAB is, right? That they can do. It's amazing. All right, it may feel more like summer here in Florida, but millions across the U.S. are actually bracing for another major winter storm.
Snow, ice, and rain expected to fall across a 1,500-mile stretch of the eastern U.S. Laura Geary shows us who's in the path of this system. A local woman is working to change the narrative surrounding black health and joy.
It's so important for us to have representation and have people that understand your culture, your beliefs, your values.
We'll tell you about the nonprofit unifying and fortifying neighbors across Central Florida with knowledge.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Rubenstein Law. Injured? Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
History shows Black Americans are more likely to face social and economic challenges, which can often impact their health in a major way. Some of those disparities include higher rates of infant mortality, pregnancy-related deaths, and lower life expectancy.
And many go without care because of the cost. WESH News' Christina Watkins tells us about one Central Florida woman who is trying to create a better future. The Black Health Commission is hosting an art exhibit on February 21st. It's at the Hideout on Lee Road from 6:30 until 10. To learn more about the organization or to volunteer, be sure to head to WESH.com. Plus, the Zero will join us live on WESH News Sunrise next Thursday, February 20th. Walk us through all of the details for the event. Be sure to tune in then.
A wonderful mission there, for sure. All right, Cam, let's turn things over to you because it is It's so hot
I was
that
gonna
it
say, just
I
say
don't
it.
even know
It's
what to, yeah, like what is happening?
You know what? When you look at our 7-day forecast, which is what I'm going to show you in just a few seconds, we have 3 seasons in one week. Yes.
That is so Florida.
It's very much Florida. So let me show you off the top. Right now, the beach, quiet, but I think it's going to be packed later this week, and then empty once 2 cold fronts move through. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast. We go from warm to hot tomorrow and Thursday. So we're going to be cranking those air conditioners. Then we're going to need our umbrellas because we have 2 fronts moving through. Once those 2 fronts move through our area, we go back to feeling cold again, and then more moderate temperatures. So summer, we have spring, we have winter, all in the 7-day forecast. Let's break it all down for you. So let's first start with the first bump, which is the summer-like conditions. We're going to see high temperatures climbing into the upper 80s by Thursday. You see those asterisks by Orlando and Sanford? That indicates we will likely either tie or break our record high for Thursday because of that heat. And this is not even indicative of what it's going to feel outside. With the higher humidity, feel like temperatures will be more like the low 90s come Thursday. So we've got the heat. As we look at it for Thursday and Friday, we're also watching a cold front heading our way. That rain, though, not arriving until pretty late in the day on Thursday, so it's not going to really help cool us down much. You can see by Thursday afternoon to evening around 5, 6, 7 o'clock, a couple rain showers west of I-4. Then that line pushes more towards the east. And we'll see those showers around 7 to 8 o'clock Thursday night. Then overnight, Thursday into Friday, mostly cloudy skies. And then as we go into Friday afternoon, a couple more rain showers moving in. So that's with frontal system number 1. Second front arrives on Sunday. So Saturday, we do see a few showers, but the better shot for rain will be arriving on Sunday. Now, the timing of the rain, we still haven't made concrete yet because you can see there's big timing differences between our long-range models. European is on the left, GFS is on the right. Both keep Sunday morning dry. So if you have early morning brunch plans, you're in great shape. European, though, brings the rain in much earlier. Look, by 2 o'clock, we're looking at pretty much widespread rain west and north of I-4, while the GFS is much, much slower, still keeping us fairly dry through Sunday afternoon. And then as we go into around 5:30 Sunday afternoon to early evening, European brings widespread rain while the GFS is just starting to bring the onset of the rain to our north and west. And because of those timing differences, we're watching those impacts for the speed week activities. I will say Thursday, there looks to be rain for the duel at Daytona. And then for Friday, looking at great weather for the Fresh from Florida 250. Saturday, sunny and warm, but it's Sunday, the biggie race, the Daytona 500, that we're watching for the potential for some rain. Right now, we are looking at breezy conditions, and again, the possibility of rain at the start of the Daytona 500 again on Sunday afternoon. Right now, though, live look outside. This shot courtesy of our friends Rusty's at the port at Port Canaveral. It is warm. We're at 79 in Titusville, 84 in Orlando, 82 Kissimmee. As we take a look at our satellite and radar, winds were so light that the sea breeze is actually pushed in. Could see a spot sprinkle this evening, but most locations will remain dry. And as we wake up tomorrow morning, once again, looking at some foggy conditions, although I don't think it'll be as thick or as widespread as what we saw this morning. Once again, here's a look at your Central Florida certified most accurate forecast. Just some wet weather moving in as we go into late week. Another batch of rain with a second cold front on Sunday. And look at that dramatic drop off. A high of just 67 for Monday of next week. More news for you coming up on the other side of the break.
First warning weather on WESH 2 is sponsored by Window World of Central Florida.
A leading man will be the leader of the pack at this weekend's Daytona 500. Today, the Speedway announced actor Alan Ritchson is the honorary pace car driver. He's best known for his role on the show Reacher. The Great American Race is on Sunday afternoon and will be at the track all week for Speed Weeks. Count on the WESH 2 sports team to bring you live reports from Daytona as we count down to the checkered flag on Sunday. And WESH 2 News at 5 is straight ahead.
Michelle Prado joins us now. What's coming up in our next hour?
Guys, a wild chase in Volusia County was caught on camera.
Stay kid, got it. Northbound.
How deputies were able to stop that driver who took off from traffic stops in 2 different cities. Plus, WESH 2 News is live in Tallahassee as lawmakers begin a new special session on immigration. WESH 2 anchor Jesse Pagan will join us in moments with the latest from today's meetings. That and much more next at 5.
Custom weather alerts on the WESH 2 app. Download it today.